Episode 2 of That Fine Life podcast. From wine country to cottage country, real estate is all about lifestyle. I'm Andrew Perrie, and welcome to That Fine Life. And we have 2 of the Fine Estates team members here.
Woo-hoo.
2 of the most TikTok famous individuals on the team.
Wannabes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Vanessa Doerr, welcome. Thanks. Is this your first podcast?
This is my first podcast, yeah.
It is?
Yeah, first.
We can't tell. You're natural. I'm sitting there. Paige?
Yeah. Podcast
Jurcina.
every day.
Jurcina?
Jurcina.
Paige Jurcina.
Garcia, actually.
Garcia. Jerry Garcia. You guys are probably too young.
I know the name.
I'm the same age as you.
Yeah, you guys are the same
No,
age.
you just had a birthday. And
to
it
make
was
me the same
not-
age as you.
You're 35?
Oh, sorry,
You're
34.
a year older.
Yeah, you're
yeah.
34. Oh my God. So first year, second year, technically, right?
Mhm.
In March,
February.
Close.
Close.
So what I want this podcast to be, and I want to have the team on here, and nothing's off limits. Some things are off limits.
Spilling the
Dun, dun,
tea.
dun.
But when we interview the team, we want to just kind of have fun. We want to talk about maybe the real estate industry in your experience, maybe successes, the failures. But we can also have this totally open in regards to anything. I mean, our baseball league is pretty sick. We won the last game, so we got invited to
That's
the
only
playoffs.
game we won.
No,
No, you've won a few. Yeah.
I don't think we've ever lost a game when I was on the team.
That is just incorrect.
No, that's not true. You guys lost when I was there.
yeah,
What?
we
Yeah.
lost horribly.
Like the first one I came to, you guys lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
and the
Yeah.
one Gabe came to watch when you struck out at the end.
I never struck out.
We
One.
lost that one. Yeah,
We have video footage.
we do have
actually.
video
Yeah.
footage.
All Well, aside from the baseball failures, let's talk about real estate. Let's move into that. Vanessa, let's start with you. When did you get licensed?
Like May.
Like May.
Super recently.
That's see,
Yeah.
Actually,
that's what I was
May,
thinking
yeah.
about.
Freshie.
She was May.
yeah.
I was May, yeah.
I've only
It's
been on
gonna
the team
be
for 2
May.
years.
Yeah. So since then, what is what does that make us now? 5 months, 4, 6?
Like going on to 5,
Yeah.
going on to my 5th.
We just talked about on our last
Count
podcast how I didn't
I
take
had to,
grade
I had to
12
get a
math.
math
So
too.
yeah. So anyways, your first few months in, was it what you expected?
Yes. Like I didn't think.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Okay.
I don't know why I didn't expect to be driving around as much. Like I feel like I could take somebody
They'll
on a
come to
tour
us.
of Welland, St. Catharines, Niagara.
Yeah.
So that I don't know why I was so blown away by that. But yeah, it was like yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Okay. Now, what
Like
was
that.
maybe, one thing that you didn't quite expect in terms of joining the team?
Mm.
Like, is there anything that maybe you thought of joining a real estate team would be different that maybe, most people in their first year wouldn't have encountered?
Well, I'm on a podcast right now. So I was on CHCH News.
That's
Oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah.
See? You've
We
had a
filmed
fairly...
the
That's
pilot.
right out the gates.
I climbed on ropes.
Watch out, selling
You didn't
sunset.
think that you were walking into like a casting academy.
Yeah,
and,
like
and-
the Fine Estates team is not your average real estate team
No.
experience.
No.
1000%.
Yeah, so CHCH, what was that all about?
They approached me to talk about the rental market right now. So St. Catharines is
Yep.
one of the most booming markets for rentals. So
Mhm.
they just had me come on and give my input on it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are things in terms of rentals still going crazy?
Yes and no. I find that you're not getting as much action as you were.
Yeah,
When I
which is
first
good,
started,
because that's-
yeah, rentals is I just don't think that it's a
Uh,
good position for people to be in. But
Yeah. And, for us, we're happy to do it, especially for our clients and their kids or whatever, but it's more paperwork than your average deal.
Yeah.
And
It's
mhm,
more work, yeah.
1/100th of the paycheck.
Yep.
yeah,
Although we like to, but it's good to get started.
you
so can
do
get used
you
to the
definitely
contracts,
learn
get
too.
used to- yeah.
It's nice to know it
exactly.
all
Yeah.
and to have
It's like that
option.
meme when the team leader's there and the first year's crying on the ground because they're doing all the leads.
Literally,
and
the TikTok that I showed you,
It
it's
is,
like,
yeah.
Literally, I was
Yeah.
on the ground crying
Yeah.
before we came into the
But
podcast.
we've seen you cry, and you are the team lead. So
I'm crying for a
Weekly
different
breakdowns.
reason, but yeah. Okay, well, you know what? Pretty cool couple of opportunities for you since you started. Now, what are kind of your goals? What did you expect for yourself in your first year of business? And are you on track?
Like, I definitely came into it like right as the market was
going
I
down.
want to say cooling down, but it was
Yep.
like
a little
Yeah.
bit of a nosedive.
which is good because
Yeah.
I really have to like think outside the box and get
Exactly.
creative to try to find business and set myself apart from everyone who already has that business established.
Yes.
100%.
That's how we're becoming
So-
TikTok famous.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Influencers, yeah.
to in support of that, your database, I guess you could say, your active buyers, they're there. Your active clients are there. It's just a matter of time of what Bank of Canada is going to say about the rates. How are people going to respond to it? And then, of course, when does buyer confidence come back? So I think you're doing very well. Obviously, on social media, you're starting to become that almost authority. Like, I mean, DMs, like, are they filling up or what? And
Woo!
Yeah.
well, I mean, because
yeah,
when people
like-
first start coming out as hard as you have, that's exactly how I came out, and my DMs were filled. And for an educational purpose, not for other reasons. I know it's different for guys. I know it's different for guys and girls. Let's be honest.
100%.
Because when I first started hiring girls, everybody was like, "I don't want to make my account private or public." I'm like, "You have to."
Yeah, it's
and
a
then like
challenge.
instantly they're like, "Why did you make me do
Yeah.
that?"
Add everybody on Facebook.
Yeah,
Don't add
regret.
everyone
No,
on
no,
Facebook.
because Kate Broderick we had on the Be Revolutionary podcast, and she was talking all about that. But anyways, I
Yeah.
digress.
Yeah, I do
You're
like
gaining a following now for the real estate.
People are seeing what I'm up to, and
Yeah.
it kind of makes me like nervous a little bit because I feel like people think I'm like way more advanced than I actually am.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like I have to learn real quick in situations. But
I really love that you said that because what podcast was I forget what podcast I was on, and they asked that kind of similarities between an imposter syndrome from anywhere from people who are just starting to massive CEOs, and we all go through that. We were talking about why I don't really do like stat videos. For one, I think they're boring. I don't think anybody
everyone's
cares.
doing it. Yeah.
But also, it's like I did that, and I had like one of the managers from another real estate brokerage comment like, right? So like, I'm like, okay, like I did the numbers, I know they're right, but like still. And then somebody else commented on my thing, well, there is no economic theory to back your claims up.
That's
Okay.
what makes me the most
Yeah.
nervous. It's like
Okay.
I get
So-
these ideas, but I'm like people like it's gonna be like a realtor that like hates
Yeah,
on me. But
but
everyone's
hey,
been
look,
really nice.
hey,
so
the people
far,
that are
yeah.
commenting, that's all the time they have to do in their
Haters,
businesses,
yeah.
hate on
True.
people
That's it.
who are
Yeah.
doing well. So
That's why we
anyways,
keep it light.
Yeah.
Light and funny.
great start for you for sure. And I know that once these mortgage rates get tweaked out and settled, we know what's going to happen. So now, Paige, head coach of the baseball team.
Yeah.
So now, same question to you because you basically started in a completely different market.
Yes, I did.
So when I started, I was very similar to Vanessa, although I had about 30 or 60 days of insanity. And when I started 2016, 2017, I had my first listing. We got like 14 offers. We sold it in obviously in 24 hours or whatever. And then by the time that sale closed, which was a short closing, 30, 60 days, the market I went boom. And I'm like, and then now I had to rely on my creativity and all that other stuff. But for you, it was a little bit of a different story. Why don't you talk about that?
Oh gosh.
What was
yeah.
your experience in the first 12 months?
I hit the ground running, I think is the best way to put that. I actually expected to take quite a while to get into it, and
Yeah.
I still had a full-time job and was thinking like eventually in a year I should be able to do this on my own. And I think it was 2 months after, maybe even a little bit less, that I was like,
Yeah.
I have to quit my job. This
Didn't
It
you
was
is
get,
like
like,
June.
all
It
offers
was
in 1
probably
week or
like
something?
June.
Oh, it was crazy.
my
No,
God,
I
yeah.
did. No, there was one that I did like 3 I got 3 in 1 week or something like that. It was wild.
Yeah.
Like I was very happy for it, but it also, where it benefited me is I learned so much so quick.
Yes.
So we always made the joke that I'm like already 5 years into real estate when I was
You
like
teach-
5
yeah,
months.
You teach me a lot.
Well,
Yeah, but-
it's funny because a lot of the layup clients that I passed off to you turned out to not be so layupy.
Yeah, you've passed me a couple doozies.
Yeah, well,
You
because
know-
in your first few months, it was the land deal, I
Yes,
think.
I
right?
had vacant land, which was a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. Well, because the crazy thing about where we were in that market was if you're buying land, like, I mean, you need to know, can I build on this land?
Yeah.
How big can I build? Which information is fairly easy to obtain, but getting your clients to trust based on having no approvals in place is really difficult.
Yeah, and dealing with the towns.
Yeah,
That was a
especially the
very
smaller
different
towns,
thing.
right? That aren't used to the
That's
influx
it.
of calls.
Yes, and then you have to always get the information for your clients. Your clients aren't just going to go out and find out if they can build on it. You go and find out everything. So
Yeah.
if anybody needs a piece of land, hey, I'm your girl. Just
So
like know it all.
was the competitiveness in those land deals?
Yes, yeah, there were still multiple offers on it. I remember one I did, I was only able to do like a 15-day condition to see if we could get like blueprints done and site approval and all this, because the other offer that came in had a couple more days. And so we won just by having a shorter time period, and we could not get any of it done in that time because the town
Yeah.
was so backed up.
I
So
know.
it was just like a
So
circus.
our offer that we did get accepted was conditional?
It was, oh gosh, it was conditional for like 60 days.
Yeah. So, but again, how many offers were accepted though without those conditions,
Yeah.
right? And I don't think we ever submitted any of those.
Oh no.
No.
There's, I mean, a house and no conditions feels a lot less risky
Than a piece
some
of
of the
land.
pieces of
Well,
land. Yeah.
And just so our listeners are aware, like these plots of land are in areas in which the conservation authority is very prevalent. So Welland, Waynfleet,
Yeah.
Wellandport, so all that West Lincoln area where it's a lot of wetlands.
There was very much. So there was land that I found 2 acres, and they had put in the description that you can build on it. And when we found out what you could build, it was like a 700 square foot house,
Yeah.
and it was only at the front, and then you weren't allowed to
barn.
use the back of the house or the back of the lot. Sorry, like it was just, it was
You can build a
crazy. We
yurt.
found one. There was one with
because you can tear it down.
Honestly, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool, yeah.
So, all right. And then what kind of other trickiness? I know there's some new builds are very tricky for a new
Yeah.
agent, by the way.
Yeah, I dealt with new builds. I dealt with a piece of land with a tear down on it that had a homeless guy living in it, and that one was a whole
tell us
thing.
that. Oh my God, I
What?
totally
I've
forgot.
heard this.
I totally
Yeah, I was
forgot
like,
about this.
yeah.
And now on that Fine Life podcast, it's story time.
We don't
Yes,
just
I
do
forgot about it. Let's
fine
go.
estates.
We need some popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was a really nice chunk of land, but it
No
had
addresses
a
and no names.
condemned house on it.
Yep.
And actually, in the realtor notes, it said to only go between 2 and 4 because the homeless guy that was squatting there gets drunk. But he passes out between 2 and 4.
On the MLS.
This was on the MLS, yes. Yeah, so the agent called me and said, just so you're aware, like, he can get aggressive. So if you don't need to go in the house, don't go in the house. But like,
Yeah.
it was a little stressful. So I ended up calling Andrew and I was like, can I bring my husband with me? Because there's like a guy that apparently fights agents and stuff. And he was throwing stuff at the last couple that came through. And so I had my
God.
husband come with me with my clients. We didn't end up having to go in the house, thank goodness. And I did go and knock on the door just to be like, hey, because you have to make yourself
Yeah. Hey, we're
known
here.
to him so he doesn't freak out and come out. And he was passed out. So we did a quick
full time.
loop around, and we're out of there really fast.
Yeah. But,
We did offer on it. There was
wasn't that another one of the situations where you couldn't even bring services or you couldn't build
it
or you couldn't?
had services, but all you could build was what that condemned house was like, what the current layout was, and it was very small. And they had a 2-story there, and it wasn't allowed to be like
bungalow.
that. Yeah, so it was That one was tricky. Plus, you had to put in there like a clause to have the cops come
Yeah.
out and get the guy off the property, but he's been
Call the
squatting for
sheriff.
10 plus
Yeah, it's
years.
impossible.
It was, it was a long one.
Only you would get that.
That's it. So I know a lot of weird things.
Mhm.
Now
So-
single family residential is just like, oh, this is
You're like,
nice.
that's nothing.
Yeah. So, and was there another story? See, this is very interesting between the difference between a male realtor and a female realtor. So wasn't there another instance or something when we were responding to home evaluations or something? Was that you, or maybe it was Crystal? I can't remember the story. You're like,
Oh, where
by
I
the
called you
way-
and I was like, maybe we should have people going with us.
yeah, because you
Yeah.
got freaked out in front of the door,
Well, it was just,
but you still went anyway.
I did, because which was, I'm like, well, I kind of thought of it after.
Yeah.
But I had my watch on. You click 3 times, it calls 911. So I thought
Really?
it'd be okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I know you do that with your phone.
Yeah.
5
It's
times.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the same on the watch.
Yeah.
But does it go?
It does, but I feel like that's a good thing.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
it
but
calls
what if
them
it
directly.
alerts the guy who's coming to?
Well,
It's already
then they're
sent off to them.
Bye,
and then
we're
you're
done.
dead, though.
I
would
was-
rather be
well-
alive and the cops take a little bit longer than be dead and they show up fast.
No.
This took a turn.
Okay.
Get into
On
real estate.
next week on
everyone.
Murder Mystery Real Estate Edition.
You
No,
might
sorry,
die.
I'm sorry.
I
continue.
did set it off while I was jogging once. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. And I clicked
Oh,
Yeah,
end.
my
And
kids
then,
do it all the time.
but they called me back. And then I
like, "Are you
answered and
okay?"
I was out of breath because I was running. And she was like, are you sure you're okay? And I'm like, yeah,
Oh
I promise. I was just out of shape and I'm trying to run. It was embarrassing.
So you showed up to the house, things
So,
just felt weird. Or,
Yeah, we did a thing where you'd get a free CMA if you just sent in your address. And so here I am being like, oh, what a cute little house. And I showed up and knocked on the door and I said, yeah, if you want any more, more of a actual price, I'd need to come take a look and I could come back sometime. And he goes, why don't you come in now? And I went, oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, but for context, you were there
I
at
was
the
there,
house.
yeah.
The seller showed up.
No, he was there. I knocked on the door to
okay.
give him the CMA booklet to be like, here's a rough price
Yeah.
for homes in your area. But if you want more of a specific price, I would need to take a look around sometime and I could come back and do that. And he said, well, I'm free now. Why don't you come in? And I was like, oh, okay. And then he toured
Is
me
your wife home,
around,
buddy?
And yeah, that's it. And she was not.
Okay. fair enough.
Yeah, so you don't think about that until he's like, that's the basement. Go ahead. And I was like,
Yeah, I'm good.
ah, okay.
Is it finished?
Yeah.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Basement doesn't actually count for these, so
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. We won't take any photos.
it's
of
just
that.
the kitchen and the hallway. Goodbye.
Yeah.
So
oh, this is a
then-
great powder room. Thank you.
Yeah. I called Andrew after. I was like, I feel like maybe we should do like a buddy system.
Yeah.
Like text people if I'm not out in 15, I've been murdered, so don't
Yeah,
go here.
I just said call Charlie.
Don't do a CMA here.
Yeah.
That's See, it's interesting. Have you had any special requests? I see horror stories like from Realtor.ca and people
I
like
f-
submit.
I don't know. I just get like, at first I was like, wow, so many people are messaging me about real estate. This is awesome. And then
Yeah.
I'm like,
and
they
it's not real.
actually don't care. I could be
No.
a plumber.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like you learn
Yeah.
really quick, like who's actually serious. And
Yeah. When you get a
who's the-
hey,
yeah.
I'm looking to buy a house, and you're like,
Are you?
well, we could go out for dinner and talk. You're like, "Ugh, come on.
Yeah.
Well, here, let me give you to Charlie.
Yeah. Charlie would love to help you.
So I have a story then.
Oh, do you?
Story time. Gather around. Gather around.
Oh no.
So similar.
Guys are
But
sliding
different.
in your DMs.
Well,
It's wild out there.
because of my age difference, it wasn't a slide in my DMs. It was a phone call.
Oh, that's so,
So-
We're a year
awkward.
different.
Yeah, So phone call comes in, and I'm second year, so I'm still saying yes to everything, and I still think you guys should too, even if you
Like
need
we
a buddy,
do, but
even if
yeah.
you need a buddy system.
That's
Anyways,
Well, our videos are together now.
so
We're a package deal.
maybe that would make things worse.
Oh yeah, touche.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Anyways, and your followers are gonna go up like crazy. So I get a phone call and they're like, "Hey, Andrew, I'd really love your stuff. Love for you to come, show me some properties. I'm here in Niagara." I'm like, "Okay, great. Like, yeah, let me book some showings. What are you looking for? What's your price range?" I'm like, "Oh, that's a little low, 300, but I'm all right. Not too crazy low for the time. A couple of years ago.
300.
A couple of years ago, right? So that was
I did buy my
average, a
house
little
for
bit
$389.
about average, yeah. And the locations, I was like, all right, sure. Like we're talking Chrysler, those types of areas,
Yeah.
Detroit, which are beautiful areas now. Don't get me wrong, but at the time it was a little sketchy. So, anyways, I said, great. Like I'll meet you there. She's like, oh, Andrew, I don't drive. I'm like,
Sounds like
okay.
So this is a woman.
Yep, this is a woman.
Okay.
So I say, okay, I'll pick you up, I guess. And where are you at? She's like, I'm at the Best Western on Lundy's Lane.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's $39
So-
a night, I think.
So if anybody knows,
price.
not to shit on Best Western or anything, but that particular area is where a lot of
Lundy's Lane.
Yeah.
different types of people
Yep.
live and
Work.
conjugate. Let's just say that. So I pull up. I'm like, all right. I pull up, and there's so many people outside, and I was like, I drive my Mercedes into the back, and like everybody's
spit
got
on.
like their shirts off, all their clothes are dirty. It's
Andrew
like,
gets out of the car,
Takes his shirt off.
yeah. Hey, so
Party's
you can
here.
tell that they've probably all been up for a few days. I'll let your
Oh,
imagination,
fair.
right?
Yeah.
So I pick her up, hops in the car, and again, hey, people are down and out. I'm happy to support them, but comes in, stinks up the car immediately, has no teeth, and we're walking around the house that they wanted to see, and sure enough, isn't there somebody in that house? It was her ex-husband.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So I'm walking in, I see this guy, and he immediately starts freaking out on us. And it was
Andrew's
very,
like,
very
"What
uncomfortable.
is
He's like,
happening?"
how could you work with this woman? Don't you know she's a crackhead? Don't you know this? She's stealing money from me, this and this and that. And I'm like, holy crap. So I took her back to the Best Western, wished her luck, and I have not heard from her till this day. But yeah, I think that was my only kind of funky little call DM thing. It was just really, really weird.
Why have I had so many?
Well,
You just give me weird clients.
And
They're
yeah,
all
this
the
is
ones
why
that come
Andrew's
from
like,
him.
They're weird. We're
He's like,
passing them
oh,
off to
this
Paige,
number came
for
from the Best
sure, yeah.
Western. This is going to Paige.
I
Like my client that I had to drive around. Remember?
yeah, but
Yeah.
she was a very nice lady. She just didn't drive. Anyways, I've got tons of other
Yeah.
stories, and we'll just save them maybe for each podcast or something. But
Yeah, you need a story time segment.
Yeah.
yeah, so all right, so now let's get to the important stuff people want to know.
Oh, yeah.
Let's start with Paige, then we'll go to you, and then you could maybe think about your answer. There's no offense.
No pressure.
like-
no pressure.
It's just because it's your first one.
It's my first one.
Yeah, but come on. So your social media account on Instagram hacked, gone,
I know. So sad.
right? But
Yeah.
this is probably the best thing that ever happened to you, in my opinion. Because anybody who knows me knows that your account, when somebody looks at it, especially for referrals, is that you should be able to look at it and be like, okay, boom, she works in real estate. Boom, she works in Niagara. I can tell this is her vibe. Boom, I'm going to message with purpose, as opposed to like, oh yeah, Paige was referred to me, but I don't see any real estate stuff. Is she a realtor? Maybe not. Maybe I want to work with somebody a little more full-time. So how important is your social media in your business now?
Very. I was,
Yeah.
I have to say, I was crushed when my account got hacked because it's not like it was a big booming account or anything,
Yeah.
but I worked hard to get there.
Yeah.
And so when I woke up that morning and it was hacked, I shed a tear too. I was very upset about it, but
I turned on my 2 authenticator thingy.
Yeah,
I did
oh
right
yeah,
away.
Yeah.
oh
Like,
yeah.
oh shit.
I was on my way to meet you, and I was like, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah,
I'm
I was
doing
so
that. I'm
I
setting
was
it
like
up. Yep.
distraught.
Yeah,
But
I bet.
instead of just being pouty and stuff, I'm like, whatever. This is a time to reinvent myself. I think you even said that. You're like, let's
Hashtag
let's
Paige
just
was
do
here.
this.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we were doing. Hashtag Paige was here. So I just thought, you know what? How can I do me but better?
Yep.
And show more of my personality, because I think my stuff before was just kind of pictures and dry and whatever, and now I have my goofy reels because I'm funny. Like, I can be
Certainly
goofy and
funny.
funny, and I want people to see my personality.
Yeah.
I've sprinkled in some homes in there too, like a lot of our listings and stuff, so people can see that, so they can say, hey, she's in real estate. And then a little mix of lifestyle as well. And I
Yeah.
think even for me, like when I look at my profile grid, I'm like, oh, this seems more pleasing
Yeah.
than my old one did.
I certainly agree. And I feel like, since the reinvention of Paige, I think
Paige
it's just
2.0.
going to take your account that much further. And then when people, come to your account, especially other realtors, because you know what? Like, as somebody who has 90% agent referrals, a lot of the people that I'm engaging with now have since reached out to people on my team and then be like, I'll have Charlie or you or Chris will be like, yeah, they contacted me directly.
Yep.
And it's not because I'm doing a terrible job. It's because you're doing a great job. And they know that if you're working with the Fine Estates team, that you probably have a higher set of standards for client care and stuff like that. So great job, by the way.
Thank you.
And your TikTok's getting better because you're posting more
I'm
real
trying
estate
to
stuff.
stay
'Cause
consistent.
that's the thing, like with real estate or with TikTok, is that you're either a dog account, you're a husband and wife account, you're a real estate account. You can't be like all three, or you can't be 20. You know what I mean?
See, but my husband and wife
Yeah,
stuff
but your
gets so many
husband,
views.
but your husband and your stuff is different because it's really, really, really funny.
Yeah.
And
I guess it goes with my
and your
brand.
latest,
Personality.
and your latest video, you incorporated real estate with it, right?
That's what I was trying
Exactly.
to do.
So I love that, and that's the difference. I'm just saying, like, if it's a constant husband-wife prank account,
yeah.
like those are huge. But if I opened it up, I'm like, okay, are they serious about real estate, or is that just a husband and wife account?
Yeah.
Right? So that's the difference. So I love that. Vanessa, how important is social media in the beginning of your business? And, do you find it working for you? How do you manage it all day? Like, is there ideas flowing through your head?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, I'm just like a creative person in general.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I feel like I can come up with stuff like on the spot. Like I really wing it with my social media to a certain point.
Yep.
But I was like never on before. Like if you look at my
I
posts,
think I
like
creeped you at first, and I was
my
like,
last
oh,
post
she does
was like
nothing.
2020, I think, and it was like, yeah, I was never really posting, but like again, like trying to make myself stand out.
Yeah.
I really wanted to have like a big social media presence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
We need to be different.
Yeah,
be different.
be better.
Be better.
Be better. I like that.
We need to do
one.
better.
So, what kind of content are you posting that you find you're getting the most engagement or traction from?
So I actually, my face, no kidding. I find that I like actually really track like what people are engaging
Yeah, you
with, just
do.
so I know what to keep posting.
It's very important.
Yeah, and I find like it's like the same as anything. Like if you're constantly posting the same thing, like people get bored. So
Yep.
I try to just mix it up. Like if I'm up to something like random one day, like and I don't look like this, like I'll post like my hair messy and like something funny.
Yeah.
So and I just find like that's when people can kind of like relate to you as well.
You know what I really love about that is that it shows that although you're on your day off or you're on a run or you're working out or whatever, you're still thinking of real estate. It's like the podcast that I did with Renee Eliskis from Revel Burlington. He can't not drive around a subdivision and see a for sale sign and imagine what client fits into that house. So it's the same thing that I see, at least when people are posting, hey, day off and I noticed this, or hey, I'm on vacation and I saw this real estate brokerage, and you see that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio and he's checking his phone and the meme is like me
That's
on
like legit,
vacation,
though. Like,
wondering if I can buy here or what real estate prices are.
Yeah.
And I just think that it really speaks to the level of professionalism that people can put out there as their brand kind of message. It's like real estate all day. And I think that's how I am.
It's a lifestyle.
And
It is your life.
well,
Real
because
estate
I
is
had
your
to
life.
push that on you a little bit in the beginning.
You did.
It's like, honestly, if real estate isn't your whole life, then I don't want you on the team.
Well,
I
you're
know
gonna be
there's
missing
other
out.
people.
I don't think he said
Huge,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
He said it in his.
I didn't
stared
say
at
that.
you and was
Say
saying
that.
I didn't say
Yeah.
that. I said it with my eyes.
You said, show me a little more real estate. So
Yeah.
you said it just, nicer.
Yeah. But what I mean by that is like, and we talked on our first episode of that Fine Life podcast with Sam Millet from Vision Lux Productions, that basically, you kind of you have to have that day off. You have to be fully recharged. Yes. I don't believe in burnout. I'll be very honest with you. I believe if you're passionate about something and you really want to make yourself a success, I don't think burnout is a real thing. Do I think you need to reset every week? 100%, but that's a little bit different. But I find that if you're split between, I don't know, dog grooming. I don't know why I keep bringing up dogs. I think it's because you guys think I don't like animals, so I'm trying to like relate.
Everyone, he does not.
But like, it's like you can't be a full-on fisherman and a top realtor, in my opinion.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you get yourself to a point in your business? Yes. However, would I ever let my hobbies take over my social media? No. Will I share them? Absolutely. But your profile is your business card. Your stories is where the rest falls in. Is that fair?
Well, people want to see you like as your brand. Like,
of course,
they don't want to just see like, oh great, this was just listed, this was just sold. Like, they want to know who they're working with, because that's what like draws people to you the most, I find.
Even for myself, when I have other agents follow me and then I go to follow them back and it's just sold, just purchased.
Yeah, like
sold,
boring.
Just purchased. It's like, I don't know who you are. I just see all these pictures.
What did you have for dinner last
night? So you know what?
Tell me how your day is.
There's a young realtor. His name's Mason. It's actually his birthday today, but by the
Happy
time
birthday, Mason.
By the time this comes out, it's going to be way past his birthday. So Mason is Oakville, Burlington, young kid. His dad's Walter. We're actually currently working on a really big deal if it comes together. But I saw him put out a video yesterday, and he had just sold this like $3 million beautiful Oakville house. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. It was listed, and I noticed it was listed because it's such a beautiful house. Mm-hmm. And he had listed it and sold it within a few days. And in this market, it's crazy. What did he do? He didn't go out and he did put just sold, of course. That's what you should do. Yeah. But that's not what you should only do. And if you do that, maybe leverage a team account or a Facebook business account. Maybe don't leverage your own personal account for that, for Instagram. Anyways, he put out a video of him talking about the sale in front of his house, in front of his listing. And he basically came out and said something to the effect of, hey guys, I'm sure you noticed this house, and I want to explain, the process of how we got it sold. I was very happy for our clients, in a market where it's very slow. This is how we did it. We marketed it effectively. We had an agent open house. We invited this. We invited that. He door knocked. I saw in his stories, he was door knocking. We went to go for a meeting. He's like, okay, buddy, I just finished up door knocking. I'll meet you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's how you get a house friggin' sold. Yeah. But even more so, I guarantee you he's going to get a ton of fucking calls because of that post. Oh, yeah. Because people you need the story, and you need to explain what happens, because if people see it just sold, unless you're selling 1,000 houses, they're just going to, I don't even know what people think. I'm not going to pretend like I know what they think, but what I think is that, well, they either just got lucky or the house sold itself.
Yeah.
Right? And how many people do you think the house sells itself?
Heard that before?
Right? It absolutely does not. Yeah. It's a good realtor like you guys, like Mason, who helps get those houses sold.
Yeah, I just watched a Marianne video, and she was talking about this yesterday. That's so funny. The storytelling, you have to storytelling.
Yeah. Well, she's the best at storytelling. Yeah. And once you guys we're going to start initiating group coaching with her, coaching with Marianne, so that, once a month we can all learn collectively, so you don't just, hear what we have to tell you from Marianne. Marianne from Red Apple Coaching is our coach, by the way. Here's a little plug for her because she's amazing. Vanessa, Paige, thank you very much for coming in. I know you were super busy with all your real estate stuff, so we appreciate you coming in.
Super busy making reels.
Yeah. I had to bang on the window from the studio. Hey, we got a podcast now, and you guys are just like this. I'm totally joking. But thanks so much. So we really appreciate it. Where can anybody find you on Instagram? What's your handle?
At Vanessa Doerr.
At Paige Jurcina.
Okay.
Nice yeah.
And I'm at the Andrew Perrie, if anybody wants to follow me too.
They don't.
Yeah. That's episode 2. That's a wrap. To find out more about The Fine Life, head to thefineestatesteam.com.